Welcome to the Lakefront Radio Show, broadcasting live from Atlanta, Georgia. Today is Friday, June 27th. I'm Mary Thompson, and I'm here in the studio with my co-hosts, Lee Cantor and Chuck Thompson. TGIF, guys.
You bet, we made it.
Another perfect day here in Atlanta.
It is absolutely gorgeous coming across that Buford Dam. That lake was just beautiful.
Marge, how's your weather up there today?
Well, it's not too bad. We've got thunderstorms in the forecast, though, so I'm on the ground today.
Okay, there you go. We wanted to let you know that we have a very exciting guest with us today. Her name is Marge Beaver, and she is an aerial photographer who has shot the most beautiful photos over all of the Great Lakes and many others across the U.S. And the very best part is that she is a very young 73-year-old pilot. Good afternoon, Marge.
Good afternoon, Mary.
Welcome to our show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, we're very happy to have you. Before we begin with Marge, we do want to thank the sponsor of our show today, lakefrontpros.com. If your specialty or niche market revolves around the lake in any way, you need to become a member of the only national directory of lakefront pros on the Internet, where all lakefront pros converge and network at www.lakefrontpros.com. So, Marge.
Marge.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a question before Mary gets started, because otherwise I won't get a word in edgewise. It's a girl thing. How did you end up selecting the Cardinal?
Well, the Cardinal has a lot of advantages. The main one is there are no wing struts.
Okay.
So it doesn't have a side window that opens. That has to be built in. But other than that, it's perfect for what I do.
It's a real nice looking plane.
Yeah.
Very nice. And tell us a little bit, Marge, about your background, where you started out in photography, and then how you wound up taking it to the sky, so to speak.
Well, I'd been involved in photography in one way or another all my life. In fact, when I was a little kid, my parents and I used to process film and make contact prints on the kitchen table with blankets over the windows to turn it into a darkroom.
Oh, wow.
And so then after I became an adult and got married and had 5 kids for inspiration for taking pictures.
There you go. Good reason.
Did a lot of that, had my own darkroom, and then eventually I got involved in a negative retouching service, and I had several people working for me, and we retouched negatives for portrait photographers. And I saw so much beautiful photography, I started trying to play with doing some of this myself, and then the professional photographers that I was retouching negatives for took a dim view of that if I was going to be in competition with them. And about that same time, I learned how to fly. So it was a no-brainer. It was a way to put 2 expensive hobbies so that they paid for each other.
Absolutely.
That was going to be my next question, was at what point in time did you become interested in flying?
Well, actually, I hadn't done any flying, and I had gone to a spiritual retreat in New Mexico, flew there from Michigan, and I was kind of high from the experience coming back anyway, and just looking out the window and seeing the beautiful lights of Chicago at night when we flew in there. I had tears running down my face. And when I got home, I was telling my husband about all this, and he said if I enjoyed it that much in a commercial plane, I should try it in a small plane sometime.
Yeah.
And about a week later, I had $5 burning a hole in my pocket, and they were advertising introductory rides at our local FBO. So
wow, $5.
Once I got my hands on the controls of a little airplane, I think my husband maybe regretted that for a while.
The rest is history.
His full-time wife and housekeeper.
Wow, that was. And so, where was it that you took your training for flying?
In Muskegon, Michigan.
And that's where your location is now, where your business is now.
That's correct.
And you've been there for how long?
Well, we've lived in this house since 1958, so
wow.
we've been in Muskegon for a long, long time. But I bought my plane in 1982, so I've been doing aerial photography since then.
Wow.
The aerial pictures that you have posted on the internet are drop dead gorgeous.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
We got, I'm sure Mary's mentioned to you, we got married on Navy Pier, and it serves as a drop dead gorgeous backdrop, especially at night.
Yeah, I've got a lot of really pretty shots of Navy Pier.
Well, you've got one that we're going to get. I just
Super.
Yeah, I think that one where all the water's glistening and you can really see the background of the city and everything. And you have flown over all of the Great Lakes, right?
Oh, yes.
And all the harbors. And what other areas have you covered in your business?
Well, I used to take jobs all over the country. In fact, at one time or another, I've probably done aerial photography in just about every state. But now I kind of prefer to sleep in my own bed at night, so I restrict it to the Midwest. I do all the aerial photography for Lakeland Boating magazine for their Ports of Call books.
Oh, okay.
And they have one of those out for each Great Lake. So, in fact, I've got to update all of Lake Erie for them this summer. We did Lake Superior last summer.
Okay.
So we try and keep these updated. And in the process right now, I'm doing all the lighthouses.
That would be
I have
nice.
a couple of books out, and I'm working on another one, which is going to be probably Lake Michigan lighthouses first.
Marge, do you know are there a lot of other female aerial photographers?
Not a lot that I know of. I know other female pilots,
Sure.
a fair number of them, but I don't personally know any other aerial photographers that are women. I know of a couple of them.
Okay, because it just seems like you might get a little lonely out there being the only one, or one of the few, I should say, not the only one.
Well, I have a lot of good male friends who are aerial photographers. Beautiful work, and so we trade jobs back and forth every so often. And
do you go up most of the time by yourself, or do you have your husband? Okay, all right.
No, I prefer to do it alone.
Okay.
It's a lot more convenient. In fact, I don't have a left seat in the airplane most of the time. The belly hole for shooting vertical views is under where the left seat would normally go. And I have my computer equipment and camera equipment and everything spread out over that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. That's really a neat thing where you've got the opening in the belly of the plane, you say, so that you can shoot straight down. And you had to modify your plane to do that?
Yes, both for that and for the opening side window.
So you're kind of so you're sitting on the right side, am I getting that right?
Yep.
When you shoot your pictures? And how do you shoot those pictures while you're flying at the same time? I mean, are you on autopilot, or how do you deal with that?
I do it very carefully.
I'll bet you do.
That's my stock answer, because everybody asks me that question.
Yeah.
So Bill's not involved that much in this adventure with you.
No, he did get a pilot's license, but he doesn't enjoy it like I do.
Oh, okay.
And, so anyhow, he was very supportive, and we went through a couple of rough years while we transitioned from him being the breadwinner to me being the breadwinner, and him able to take an early retirement. And but he likes to cook, so I got out of that.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Chuck, my husband here, is the same way. He cooks.
I'm sitting here listening. Right? I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm kind of thinking, boy, where have I seen this?
So now you gave us your stock answer on how you take those pictures, but now I want to hear the real answer on how you do that when you're flying and trying to get a shot of whatever you're taking.
Well, it's a little different than taking your hands off the wheel of a car as you're driving down the road, because up in the air you're not that close as long as you watch for traffic well.
Yeah.
You're not going to impact anything as soon as you take your hands off the controls. So, but I have my camera fixed with a alternative handle on it so that I can park it on my right shoulder and trigger it with my left hand and still keep my right hand on the yoke of the